Welcome to Flow of Miracles month's energy reading for August. And we're moving from the energy of the Tower towards the Eight of Disc Prudence reversed. I know many of us will be happy to release the upheaval of the Tower and start building something more stable. If you had some troubles doing that in July, this energy, the grounded energy of the disc or pentacles, will really help you to build something more lasting and more stable. Sadly, of course, the card's reversed, which means that for some of us, it will be very difficult to learn the things that we need to learn. And that means that we have to be extra mindful of traps this month. So if you fear that is you, take some time to reflect and do some manifestation meditations to make sure that you're actually on the right path. So let's talk about the do's and don'ts this month. The do's are slow building, being careful, and of course, checking your karma. With the Eight of Disc Prudence reversed, it means that we are moving on with a lot of lessons that we have learned, but also we are not mastering all of them yet. So, slow building is one way of making sure that we really internalize the things we learned so we can move forward in a way that works for us. It helps us to actually see what needs to be done and what way is workable for us. Don't hesitate when you're building slow to ask for help, spend some time meditating, spend some time reflecting, spend some time talking with others and networking and asking for opinions so you can actually build in a careful way. That, of course, moves into the second do. Be careful. When we are in the grips of Eight of Disc reversed, we can be a bit too impatient. It's often hard to see that we're not where we want to be yet, and then people try to take a lot of risks, and that is not necessarily the best way forward this month. And last but not least, really check your karma. And that means that any ancestral lessons, any kind of things we did in the past can come back this month, the good and the bad. So it's very important to check where you're at. If you feel you've harmed somebody, now is the time to move towards forgiveness. And if you felt you built up some credit, now is the time to cash it in and ask other people to help you out this month. And then let's talk about the don'ts. Don't be anxious, don't get stuck in perfectionism, and don't get stuck in a stagnation. Yes, we need to build forward in a careful and slow way, but we shouldn't get anxious about it. Sometimes when we feel like we don't have all the answers, we don't have the complete skill set we need, we become very anxious and we start worrying about doing things the right way, doing things with the most impact, and that is not the way forward with Ace of Disc. It reminds us that we're building, that we're learning, and it means that it's okay not to have all the answers. And that also means that for the second don't, perfectionism, it shows us how important it is that we're still learning, we're allowed to make mistakes, we don't have to have any fear of failure. If you notice you get stuck in that a lot, don't hesitate to try out the True Unity videos for that so you can actually move forward. Because the last don't is don't get stuck in stagnation. Yes, moving forward is important. With a disc, sometimes that is slower than we would like because we're working on the material plane in the physical. And that always goes slower than, for example, the mental plane when we get our thoughts on a row really quickly, but then having to actually do the work is a lot slower. If we get stuck in stagnation, it means we have not learned our lessons. We're not working with our skill set, and instead, we just stay stuck. And that is definitely not something we should do this month. We need to work and do the work because if you want to see results in the material plane, you actually need to do the work. And that is sometimes I often tell people you need to do the work because they feel they've meditated, they feel they've done the manifestation, and how come those changes are not showing up? And then I need to tell them, you need to do the work. We do need to actually touch the material plane and work in the physical. And of course, if you have trouble with that, there are a lot of resources that you can use. I hope you all have a wonderful month.